countdown. Gary Sheffield has credentials, but repels voters young and old. USA Today Sports is counting down the top 24 candidates on the 2018 Baseball Hall of Fame ballot in advance of the January 24 election results. The countdown is based on voting by our Power Rankings panel, which includes 5 Hall voters. He debuted before Wrigley Field even had lights, slugged his way through, and then became a part of the so-called steroid era and finished with a home run total that once guaranteed Hall of Fame induction. Now, Sheffield's candidacy resides in a purgatory of sorts as it hits its 4th year, with demerits from both schools of voters. The New Age voter will ding him for allegedly being a compiler, that he was a well-below-average defender and that he may skew closer to Jim Edmonds than Edgar Martinez among borderline candidates. And a significant amount of old-school voters will avoid checking his box due to his relatively ironclad connection to performance-enhancing drugs. Grand jury testimony that, through his connection with Barry Bonds, he unknowingly used tobacco's Cream and Clear. The case for all that said, Sheffield checks an awful lot of boxes. He slugged 509 home runs, had a career .292 batting average and .907 OPS, equaling Ken Griffey Jr., and received MVP support in 7 seasons, finishing 3rd twice and runner-up in 2004. He made his major league debut at 19, barely 2 years after the Milwaukee Brewers drafted him out of the same Tampa high school that produced his uncle, Dwight Gooden. By 23, he was a batting champion and an All-Star, and at 27 had a career year for the Florida Marlins befitting a Cooperstown inductee, slamming 42 home runs and leading the National League in on-base percentage, .465, OPS, 1.090. and OPS plus 189. The countdown in a testament to his skill set. Sheffield debuted as a shortstop, spent 6 years as a third baseman and 16 more as an outfielder. That he played for 8 teams might be considered a negative, but his value was always strong. Sheffield was the centerpiece of deals that sent future, likely Hall of Famers Mike Piazza and Trevor Hoffman back to his old team. The case against Sheffield occasionally exited on contentious notes, most notably when he clashed with Milwaukee Brewers management, leading to a 1992 trade to the San Diego Padres. While his versatility was a plus, he was never known as a great fielder and in 1993 led NL third baseman with 34 errors. 7 years later, his 10 errors led all NL left fielders. Every advanced metric rates him a below-average fielder over the course of his career. Sheffield spent a portion of the winter before the 2002 season working out with Barry Bonds, who Sheffield said provided him with a cream for a bad knee. Only later, Sheffield claims, did he realize they were banned substances from tobacco and not, as he testified, like you could go to a store and find something like that. Sheffield's production actually dipped that season, to 25 home runs from 36. And he severed ties with Bonds after things got weird between them. However, from 2003 to 2005, in his aged 34-36 seasons, Sheffield enjoyed 3 of his most productive years, averaging 36 homers, 125 RBI and a .947 OPS. While it's more challenging to contextualize Sheffield's late career exploits compared to Bonds and other users, his Bauca testimony is more than enough to scare off anti-typed absolutists within the voting bloc. X factors: there's no metric for most feared hitter of his era, but Sheffield would finish near the top of any such list over 2 decades. Sheffield won a World Series championship with the Florida Marlins, and while 1997 wasn't one of his greatest seasons in Miami Gardens, he did perform capably in all 3 of the Marlins postseason series. And the man could hit anytime, anywhere, any league. He finished 3rd in NL MVP voting for the 2003 Atlanta Braves, hitting 39 homers and driving in 132 runs. A year later, he switched leagues and joined Alex Rodriguez on perhaps the most star-studded team in baseball history, the 2004 New York Yankees, and nearly won the AL MVP, slamming 36 homers and posting a .927 OPS. He was runner-up to Vladimir Guerrero. Consensus: Sheffield enjoyed a small bump in voting last season, to a 3-year high of 13.3%. But it's clear a climb to 75% is likely futile. He's polling 40 points behind Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens, who are similarly linked to PS, and even further behind slugging contemporaries like Edgar Martinez. Sheffield should make it to the end of his 10-year ballot run, but will likely never top 50%, let alone the 75% he'd need for induction.